Okay, what we're looking at today is rotations. Rotations is a transformation that's known as a turn. We're rotating a figure around a point which they're going to call the center of rotation. So if I'm taking a look at this one, here is my original figure and I rotate it. So you can see how this turns from one spot to the next. And that's what the rotation is. It's doing that turn. Now we can rotate things two possible directions. We can rotate it clockwise, like we have the numbers on the clock, so we rotate it clockwise. Or we can also go counterclockwise, which is the opposite. So when they ask you to do the rotation, they're either going to say move it clockwise or move it counterclockwise. What we're going to have for this is we're going to sort of have a hint or a key that's going to help us figure out where the points go. And what we have here is sort of our hint. It's telling me what my rotation is. And then it's telling me the preimage or where I start. And then what does it become? So I have the first one, which is 90 degrees clockwise. So 90 degrees going as the clock does. So that'd be like 12 to 3. But also, I can get to 3 by going backwards. That would be 270 degrees counterclockwise. So these two would be the same, 90 degrees clockwise or 270 degrees counterclockwise. It's saying every point that's an X and a Y. I'm going to leave the Y alone, but I'm going to put it first. Then I'm going to take the opposite of the X. I'm going to change its sign. Positive becomes negative, negative becomes positive. Then 90 degrees counterclockwise. That's coming from the 12 and going to like the 9. So that's 90 degrees counterclockwise. But I can also get there by going 270 degrees clockwise. So those two are the same again. So that tells me every XY, I flip this around. The Y becomes the opposite. So that Y, if it's positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive, and the X stays the same. Now the 180, it doesn't matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise. You're going from 12 to 6. And it doesn't matter which direction you go because either way you're going to end up at that 6. So all it's saying is take that X, make it its opposite. Take that Y, make it its opposite, and don't change anything. So if I take a look here, these are some points that's saying, okay, I just want to change where they're at. Well, this says rotate 180 degrees. Well, this is my XY. This is my pre-image. So it says leave them in the same spot. So I'm going to leave the 2 and the 3 in the same spot, but I'm going to make them their opposite. So instead of positive 2, I'm going to make negative 2. Instead of positive 3, I'm going to make negative 3. Now the next one here says rotate 90 degrees clockwise. I go to my key. Okay, there's 90 degrees clockwise. Okay, it says leave. There I have my X, Y. It says, okay, flip them around. So it says put the Y first. So that 3 is going to go first. And then it says put the opposite of X. Well, it was negative 1. The opposite is positive 1. 270 degrees counterclockwise. So I go find, okay, counterclockwise and 270 degrees right here. And it says, okay, I look and say, okay, it's that one. The Y stays the same. So it was negative 5, it's going to stay negative 5. But it says take that X, make it its opposite. Well, that X was negative 2. So now it becomes positive 2. So now if I come to here, I have negative 4, negative 7. And it says rotate 180 degrees. So that tells me I'm going all the way around. And it says take every XY and just change them to their opposite. So instead of negative 4, it's going to be positive 4. Instead of negative 7, it's going to be positive 7. So here I forgot to put in the number, so I'm going to say rotate 270 degrees. clockwise, I want you to rotate actually 2, 3. So rotate that first one 270 degrees clockwise. So what I want you to do for a moment here is pause the video. See if you can answer those two, and you can check your answer in just a moment after you've paused the video. Okay, welcome back. I hope you took a chance to pause and just take a chance to see if you're able to get it right. Now, if I take a look at this one, it says 90 degrees counterclockwise. So I find where my 90 degrees counterclockwise is. Okay, it says every x, y, I reverse. But here I want y now to be the opposite. So I'm going to reverse this. So this negative 8 is going to go first. But because of this, I want it to be positive 8. I leave the x alone, so that becomes 7. And the same thing, now I look here, 270 degrees clockwise. Oh, it's the same thing here. So I want to basically reverse, so the y is going to come first. That's going to become that 3. But I want it to be a negative 3 because I want it to be that opposite. And that 2 is going to stay the same. And as I said, this little key part here, to me, is critical. Whenever I do any type of problem, it's one of the things that I use to solve it. So now I want to take a look at a couple of problems. So this one says I want to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise around the origin. And again, the first paper that I had up there, I keep it by hand because I'm going to look at, because for me it's easier to get the point than make the drawing. So what I have is I'm saying, okay, it's 90 degrees counterclockwise. So I take a look and say, okay, 90 degrees counterclockwise means that every y is going to become negative and every x is going to stay positive by I'm switching their position for that 90 degrees counterclockwise. So each one of these stays the same. But these become its opposite. So instead of positive 3, it's going to become negative 3. Well, those two are 0, so they actually just sort of stay the same. So I'm not even going to worry about those two. With those 0, so I go negative 3, 1, 2, 3, negative 1. That's that new point. And remember, we call it J prime because we've moved it. That's my image. That's showing I've done the transformation. Then here, 0, negative 2. That one's right there. There's my Q prime. It's 0, negative 5, so that's negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. There's my G prime. And I connect them. As you can see, that figure sort of rotated. There's that 90 degrees. Because you can sort of say, when it moves 90, it's going to be one quadrant. That's like 90. From here to here is 90, to this one's 180, to that one's 270. So you can sort of figure out how far it needs to go based on saying each one of these quadrants is like a 90 degree turn. 90, 180, 270. Or if I go clockwise, 90, 180, 270. Now let's take a look at number 2. It says to rotate 180 degrees around the origin. So again, I take a look and say, oh, okay, my 180 says negative x, negative y, or opposite of x, opposite of y. So this could become 0 instead of negative 5, positive 5. Negative 1, and that becomes positive 3. Negative 2, positive 3. And negative 4, positive 4. The numbers in this case stayed in the same order. All I did was change their sign. So 0, 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's my F prime. Now I got -1, +3, 1, 2, 3. There's my U prime. Okay, I have H, -2, 1, 2, up to 3, 1, 2, 3. There's my H prime. And then -4, -2, -3, -4, up to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my A prime. And there's my figure, and you can see how I rotated it. So that's the start of how we do those rotations. Again, to me, that key is really helpful because that leads me in the right direction. Hopefully that helps you in terms of solving problems, doing transformations involving rotation.